Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, we'll be discussing certain plans or certain ideas about what happens when a partner is deciding to retire from an existing firm. So, when a partner retires, there are certain things that you need to figure out. First thing is calculation of the new profit sharing ratio. Second thing is the calculation of gaining ratio. Third thing is revaluation of assets and liabilities, and the fourth thing is reserves calculation. These all four things are supposed to be done whenever a new partner is admitted. In case of admission of partner, in such a scenario, when the same thing is turned on to retirement of a partner, we calculate only one thing, that means calculation of gaining ratio, because other things are similar as compared to admission of partner as well. In admission also, you have to go ahead with the revaluation of assets and liabilities and reserve calculation. In retirement also, you have to do the same thing, that means calculation of revaluations of assets and liabilities and calculation of reserves here. When this is done, your job is completed. The only difference between admission and retirement is that in admission there is a sacrifice that is done by the existing partners, and in retirement there is a gain that happens to the existing partners because one of the partner is retiring. That means whatever profit is there now will be shared between two people or three people, if in case there are four people or there are three people. So depending on the case, if there are three partners, one retires, the profit will be shared between two. If there are three partners and one retires, the profit will be shared in two. If there are four partners and one retires, the profit will be shared in three. So in both the scenarios, there is a gain ratio that has to be calculated. But on the other hand, when admission happens, if there are three partners and the fourth partner is admitted, that's the reason the profit now will be shared between four people. So there is a sacrifice that happens. On the contrary, there's a gain that happens in the retirement. So that's what we need to calculate. Now, the only reason how to calculate a gain ratio is using a simple formula, new ratio minus old ratio. That will give you retirement of partners gain ratio calculation. So let's figure it down with an illustration that we can mention down here. Now, the example that has been mentioned here is that A, B, and C were three partners sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 5:3:2. All of a sudden, B decides that he has to retire, and accordingly he takes the retirement decision. Now, A and C are the two existing partners who will have two choices in front of them. Either they can keep the same ratio that they were continuing, or they can change the ratio to a new profit sharing ratio according to their choice. What we'll be doing here is that we'll be doing a small activity. We'll be going ahead and implementing both the situations, in one case where they keep the same ratio, in the other case where they change the profit sharing ratio according to their own choice. We'll see what is the gain ratio that we can derive after implementing both the situations here. So let's go ahead with the first situation where they keep the same ratio, that means 5:2. Now let's figure out what is the difference or what is the gain ratio that they have to bear here, or rather what is the gain that have arrived here. So the first situation that we have taken into consideration is that we have kept the same ratio. That means the earlier ratio was 5:3:2. B retires. So what is left is with A is 5 and C is 2. We'll keep that same thing and figure out what is the gain that is happening here. The formula that we have to figure out is new minus old. That's the reason we mentioned specifically as new first and then old later on. Now if you can see in the first situation, we have done the calculation here. We'll highlight each and every step. For A, new ratio was 5 upon 7 and old ratio was 5 upon 10. For C, new ratio was 2 upon 7 and old ratio was 2 upon 10. Now, if the formula that is applied here, that is new minus old, is mentioned here, we get the LCM calculation as follows. For A, it will be 50 minus 35 upon 70 as per the LCM calculation. For C, it will be 20 minus 40 upon 17 as per the LCM calculation. So for A, it will be 15 upon 70 and for C, it will be 6 upon 70. Now this is the gain ratio that they have analyzed. That means both these people have earned, or rather figured out, the gain ratio as 15 is to 6. So whenever the calculation is supposed to be done, this is the kind of calculation that you can do. This is in situation 1. You can also further go ahead and simplify it, but make sure the denominator is equivalent. So if in one ratio you figure out that it is 15 upon 70, the next one should also have a denominator as 70, and so on. The divisible or the divisibility can go further into it. So this is a situation 1 calculation that we can figure out, that is situation 1 gives you 15 is to 6 ratio as a gaining ratio. Now let's figure out if this situation turns to other side, whereby there is a new profit sharing ratio that they wish to keep for. Now let's imagine that in the changed ratio they keep it as 3 is to 2. That is the kind of partnership that they wish to keep ahead with. Now according to this new ratio, we'll have to figure out, but the calculation remains the same. So in the change scenario, where we have analyzed that the new ratio is 3 is to 2, we'll analyze how the steps have gone ahead with. So the new ratio that they have to keep is 3 is to 2. That means for A it will be 3 upon 5 and C it will be 2 upon 5. This is the new ratio that has to be subtracted from the old ratio, that is 5 upon 10 and 2 upon 10. If you do the calculation as per the LCM method, that means cross multiply and divide by the same numerical multiples, you will get the answer here mentioned here. That is 5 upon 50 and 10 upon 50. That means for A it will be 5 upon 50, for C it will be 10 upon 50. So if you have to compare between the gain ratio as per this new situation, it is 5 upon 10 for A and C. That is the gain ratio as per the new profit sharing ratio that they have decided to keep. So this is different as compared to the previous one what you had encountered when the same ratio was kept. So in the change ratio, this gaining ratio will also keep on changing. So this is how you calculate the gain ratio in terms of any retirement that has been done. Make sure whenever the question comes in, you understand whether the same ratio is kept or there's a new ratio here. On the basis of that itself, you will further go ahead and make the necessary changes in calculation of gain ratio. So I hope this video gave you a clarity about how to go ahead and calculate the gain ratio and understand each and every concept of it. So thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned with Ekeeda and keep subscribing to Ekeeda.